Hello and welcome to another episode of Bassin with Captain Lou. Today is part 2 of frog fishing basics for beginners. On my previous video, I went over the 2 important points that I think beginners should strongly consider to get a better understanding of the hollow body frog. But today I'm going to be going over an important point that I haven't seen discussed, and that is which frog, or rather which frog size, that a beginner should strongly consider, or if you're an individual who is first getting started or been throwing the frog for a while, maybe this information might help you as well. So as far as frog sizes are concerned, traditional frogs come in 4 particular sizes, okay? And I'm going to go quickly over them. I'm going to go over them really quick, and I'm going to bring you guys over on this side of the table and show you what I'm talking about. They come in small sizes, medium sizes, large sizes, and extra large sizes. So I'm going to bring you guys over, and you can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So let's come on over here for a second. Okay, so as you can see here, I mentioned frog small. I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. This right here is a small frog. This here is a medium-sized frog. This is a large frog. And this is an extra large frog. Now specifically, I'm going to give you guys the specs so that when you go to your online retailers or your brick and mortar places, you'll be able to quickly identify the right size due to the information I'm about to share. Small frogs. Okay, small frogs are the ones that you see advertised as 40 or 50. What does that mean? What that simply means is it's 45 to 50 millimeters in length. So you'll see these categorized as 45-50. 45-50 means millimeters. As far as inches is concerned, these frogs are anywhere between 1 to 3/4 inch to 2 inches in length. And as far as weight, they go anywhere between 3/8 of an ounce to 5/16 of an ounce in weight. When you grab them and when you hold them in your hand, you're going to quickly feel how light this frog is. The next frog is the medium-sized frog. These guys here you'll see advertised in the 55 to 60 millimeter class, and or 2 1/4 or 2.5 inches long, and as far as weight is concerned, they're about 1/2 ounce. Right away, between these 2 frogs, you're going to feel a significant difference, and I'm going to go into why that's important in a little while. The next frog is the large frog. Now these guys, for example, they range anywhere between 65 to 70 millimeters in size, and they are about 2.5 inches, and they weigh around 1/2 ounce. And then the last category, which is what I consider the extra large category, and these guys right here are 90 millimeters in length, or anywhere between 3.5 to 3 3/4 inch long, and they weigh up to 1 ounce or a little bit more. So these guys, right away, when you grab them, you're going to feel a chunk of frog in your hand. Now, when it comes to packaging, the same information I just covered with you guys is in the packaging as well, and I think it's an important detail that you guys must learn in order to choose the right frog for you. So for example, I'm going to use the Lunker Hunt right now. I'm not sponsored by them. This was just a gift, but I like the packaging as far as illustration purposes. So for example, the Lunker Hunt walking frog. This particular frog, as you could see its length, you could see its weight, you could see its action, and what type of movement this particular frog can do. In this particular case, the reason why it's called a walking frog is because based on the design of this particular frog, it is pretty much easier to walk. Okay, now again, I mentioned that this is a 3-part series. I'm not going to go over the specifics of how to work a frog, or the gear used, or where to throw this frog. I'm going to be doing that in my last video, so please hold tight. But I do want to drive the important point home as far as the importance of the size of the frog, okay? And another example here, just a quick illustration of where to look for information as far as the frog size and weight. You're going to notice on this Evergreen package, I'm not sponsored by these folks. I'm just personally trying out this frog, and I'm actually going to make a little video on it. But anyways, you're going to see right here on the bottom here, it's going to tell you the size of the frog, okay, the length, and its weight. All right, now this is going to play a very important role based on my recommendations. So based on these recommendations, you're going to be able to quickly go look and scroll and find the particular sizes and weights that I'm going to be talking to you guys about in a little while. So what 2 frogs do I recommend a beginner to strongly consider? In my honest opinion, I honestly believe that a beginner should focus on learning the medium-sized frog to large frog first. And here's my personal reason why. Two important factors just jump out at me. One is the weight, and the other one is the control factor. And here's what I mean by that. As far as weight is concerned, just feeling the meat of these frogs, it's going to be very easy to cast these frogs. Okay? And that's very important for this technique, because you're going to be able to cover a lot more water and hit these targets, or these intended targets, a lot more stealthily. I don't even think that's a word. Be a little bit more sneaky in your cast by casting a little bit longer into the cover. The second part that I mentioned is control. Why is that important? Well, if you look at these frogs closely, the bigger the frog, the more surface area these frogs have. And the surface area, I personally believe, is extremely important for the control on the water. Meaning, what action can be imparted on this particular frog based on its surface area. And what I mean by that is frogs are very well known for their walking abilities. Okay? Again, I'm going to go over that in my next video. But the ability to be able to walk these frogs or displace water, the surface area will aid in those techniques, I would say. So, medium-sized frog and large-sized frogs are my recommendations for beginners. Why am I not recommending a smaller frog or the extra large frog? Well, going back into the two important points, let's go as far as the control factor. Okay, I just told you guys the importance of surface area in my personal opinion, and if you can see here, this little guy right here, its surface area, it's not that much. Okay, so for someone who is first learning how to use a frog, it is going to be very difficult to learn how to impart movement on this frog, especially walking it or chugging it. If you don't do this correctly, you're going to find yourself that you're going to be yanking this little frog out of the water because again, the weight, and B, because of its surface area, or its ability to be able to control this particular frog is not going to be possible based on the surface area of this particular little guy right here. Now, the reason why I don't recommend the extra large frog is because as far as control goes on the water, this guy is actually the easiest to walk out of the three sizes. Again, why is that? Because look at the surface area of this thing. Look at its width and look at its length. This is a lot of meat on top of the water, and based on its shape, you could easily see how you can walk this dog a lot easier based on that surface area. But the disadvantage for a beginner, not for an advanced person, but for a beginner, is the weight of this particular frog. This frog, in my humble opinion, if you don't have the right gear and you don't know how to cast it properly, I firmly believe that a beginner will break the rod tip, or some part of the rod can break because of the amount of torque that this generates when casting. So if you don't cast it properly, you may have an equipment malfunction, and it was partly your fault for not, at this stage of the game, it's not your fault, but as far as not understanding how to cast the rod yet, or how to cast a frog yet, because of its weight. This size here does require specific gear, in my humble opinion, and again, I'm going to go over that in my later video. Okay, so again, the reason why I'm not recommending these two sizes, the small and the large, reason for it is because, again, control and weight factors, and that's just my opinion. So you listen to me and you decided, you know what, that makes sense, I'm going to go ahead and go with a medium and a large. Good for you guys. The reason why I highly recommend these two sizes is because of two main reasons. And the main reason is, one is confidence. It's important to build confidence as far as this technique goes, or as far as any bass fishing technique goes, quite honestly. But it's important to build confidence on this particular technique because there's a learning curve to this particular lure. And the more you take it out, and the more you have a better and you have a firm understanding on how this lure works, okay, and you build that confidence, you're going to build yourself a very strong foundation, so much so that I honestly believe that this particular lure will be, like I mentioned in my previous video, it's going to be one of your top 5 lures in your box or in your boat for your bass, in your bass fishing arsenal. That's how confident I am that if you follow this information to heart, it's going to be one of your top 5. Okay. Now I know this was a short video. I think it was a very informative video. If you guys have some more questions in regards to what I just covered, please feel free and ask away in the box below. And if you want to learn a little bit more about frogs or get more of a hands-on approach, please feel free and give me a call. Look below, click on our business, on our company link below. Let's get yourself squared away on a trip. And I will gladly, and you're going to quickly know that I love doing this. You're going to quickly find out that I love teaching love teaching beginners, how to use this bait. So again, thank you guys for watching. If you found this information helpful, you can subscribe, like it, or you know what, even better, share this video for someone who you think has been talking about learning how to throw a frog. You know what? Share these videos. But please keep in mind, I got one more coming, and I'm going to be covering gear. I'm going to be covering how to throw it, where to throw it, and everything else in between. So please stay tuned. Again, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching, and take care of yourselves.